Cruel Summer wrapped up with the finale that finally answered the big question of what happened to Luke Chambers, and threw in a few more twists in true Cruel Summer style. We're getting right into spoilers, so if you haven't watched the last episode, click off now, right now, final chance. The episode starts with the reveal that Brent was the one who showed up to the dock. He starts to help Luke, but they get into a fight. Luke is feeling bad about the way he started acting like his brother and admits that he's the one that played the tape at the Christmas party, thinking it was one of Brent's. Brent turns on him, calling him a backstabbing little shit, and Luke says he's tired of his dad and Brent bullying people and getting away with it. Luke reveals that his dad has been lying about the accident that killed their mom. The truth is, their mom had been driving drunk, but Steve covered it up with the lie that Luke distracted his mom while she was driving to avoid a scandal for the Chambers family name. Brent argues with Luke, telling him to shut up, and pushes him, causing Luke to hit his head on the ladder before falling off the dock into the water. After Luke doesn't come back to the surface, Brent jumps in after him, but it's too late. Luke is gone. Brent heads home, soaking wet, where his dad finds him in the kitchen, and when Brent explains what happened, his dad starts working out how to keep this a secret to keep his remaining son out of jail, and more importantly, keep what remains of the integrity of the Chambers family name intact. After Megan got home from leaving Luke at the cabin, she told Isabella she was going back at 8 a.m. to untie him. When 8 a.m. rolls around, Isabella tags along to the cabin and the girls find that Luke is missing. They go looking for him and Isabella suggests that he got scared and ran away or fell and hit his head. Wow, it's like she knows. Megan calls the hospital and hacks into the 911 dispatch log to find no trace of Luke turning up. Isabella tells her they need to destroy the tape from that night and says she'll take care of it. Sometime later, Steve shows up to the house asking Megan if she's heard from Luke and planting the seed of the idea that he ran away. Ready to go along with the runaway story, Isabella suggests for Megan to write a runaway note in Luke's handwriting. You know, a skill all best friends have. As both Steve and the girls wait to see if Luke turns up, Isabella and Megan finally have their falling out, starting with Megan saying Isabella shouldn't have added the third pill to Luke's drink, as if she didn't secretly add alcohol and nod in approval as it happened, and Isabella calls her an ungrateful little bitch. Megan says Isabella is just addicted to drama, only happy when she's miserable, and declares she wishes they had never met. This fight causes the rift between the girls that continues through to the following summer when Luke's body is found. Come August 2nd, Steve barges into the sheriff's office, questioning why he didn't press charges after bringing the girls in again. And we find out that the girls accusing each other was a tactic meant to prevent the sheriff from being able to charge either individual girl because their stories cancel each other out. Knowing the sheriff has Ned's security footage, the girls realize it should also show who did kill Luke, so Megan hacks into the sheriff's station and the footage shows Steve racing to the cabin later that morning. The girls confront Steve, and he reveals he knows about Lisa, but nothing really comes from that scene until the girls are back in the car, and Isabella is happy to be spending time with Megan again, but Megan rejects her and says they're only getting along because they're desperate. Isabella says Megan wouldn't know loyalty if it bit her in the ass, and leaves. The next morning, Megan goes to find Isabella at the hotel. Yeah, sorry, she was at a hotel, not Parker's house. But why did they leave the door open when they were having a private conversation in a hotel? Weird. But she's already gone. As Megan's driving home, the sheriff pulls her over and brings her into the station. He shows her a videotape that was just turned in, the tape from the night at the cabin that Isabella was supposed to destroy, only it's cut to start at the point where Megan is in frame holding the gun as Luke shouts about being shot. This is actually really well done because the end of episode 8 established that Isabella was in frame, but by episode 9, we forget all about that when Megan grabs the gun from her and steps into that same spot. The sheriff charges Megan with Luke's murder and relays this information to Steve, who has no problems with Megan taking the blame for a murder he believes his son committed. Brent argues that Megan is family, but Steve contends she's not a Chambers. Brent realizes his father will sacrifice an innocent person to protect the Chambers family name, and finally confirms the truth about the night of the accident, that his mom was driving drunk, but his dad blamed Luke to save face. Finally taking responsibility for his actions, Brent heads to the police station and confesses the truth of that morning to Megan as the sheriff watches through the TV. The sheriff arrests him for Luke's murder and Steve for trying to cover it up. The season ends with Megan's mom in remission from her illness, Megan getting a coding job opportunity through one of Ned's connections, and Isabella flying to Ibiza, meeting her new ride-or-die Michelle on the plane, telling her all about her best friend Megan, who is so fun and loyal, but introducing herself as, wait for it, Lisa. Oh yeah, because plot twist, Isabella is crazy, and it turns out she did go back to the cabin after Megan said she was going back at 8 a.m. She found Luke at the edge of the water, and when he reached out for her help, she held his head in the shallow water until he drowned and pushed his body back into the lake, which Megan eventually sees through the security footage of a camera Ned had pointed at the dock. She sobs until she composes herself, and I don't know if that means she'll turn in the footage to get Brent out of trouble or not. But you know what I do know? That I was right at one point. In my very first video, I said this. I could totally see Isabella being like a teenage girl, Joe Goldberg, obsessing over a girl and befriending her, and then trying to be her one and only, but causing too much trouble to stick around, so she relocates. So I was right, and Megan was right when she accused Isabella of going back to the cabin and killing Luke. I had also theorized in my last video that Brent showed up, got into a fight with Luke, and left him there, but it turns out that fight involved a shove that landed Luke in the water, and despite jumping in after him, Brent couldn't find his brother. Very similar to Isabella's story about Lisa's death, she said they had a fight and Lisa jumped into the water, Isabella jumped in after her, but it was too late and they later found Lisa drowned in shallow water. Unpopular opinion, here are some questions that I don't think needed to be explicitly answered. What was Debbie sick with? I don't think it matters. She got sick, which gave Isabella a reason to stay in town and help care for her. We can just say it was cancer and now she's in remission. What happened with Megan's pregnancy? She got rid of it, probably. She had plans of going to UW for computer science and money from working for Ned, so she found a way to end the pregnancy before anyone found out. Where was Lily? Always at a sleepover. I think her character existed just to juxtapose Megan having a sister but no relationship with her, to Isabella wanting a sisterly bond so badly that she would just choose somebody to be her best friend, regardless of their compatibility. What was on the floppy disk? I would have liked to know, but I'm fine to assume it was just pictures from Isabella's travels with Lisa. Some questions I do wish we got answers for. Was Parker originally meant to play a bigger role? Something about her character and character description always felt like she was going to be more involved in the story, but it never came to fruition. So maybe they just super cut back her storyline? Did Isabella drown Lisa, or was it really an accident? I would have liked a little indication one way or the other, because I don't feel like Isabella killing Luke proves that she killed Lisa, because the motives are totally different. She killed Luke because she was dedicated to Megan and Luke had wronged her. But if she was just as dedicated to Lisa, why would she kill her? After their falling out, Isabella still held hope of reconciling and becoming friends with Megan again, so if she fought with Lisa, wouldn't she believe she could repair that relationship too? Also, why was Isabella so determined to look for more tapes, breaking into the Chambers house and going through Brent's room? My guess is that she did believe Luke when he said that Brent made the tape and could have been worried there was one of her and Luke from the previous summer, which would expose their secret to Megan. Does the finale make sense with what we were previously shown? I think it does. When Megan cries, telling her mom she thought every time the phone rang it could be Luke, that was genuine. She really didn't know what happened to him and felt guilt over what she had done when she got caught up in Isabella's intensity, but still hoped he was out there somewhere. I think Steve might have also hoped Luke would return home so he could handle that situation rather than having to cover up his murder. But as long as he didn't know what happened to Luke, there was always the risk that he was alive and could incriminate Brent. Once Luke's body was found, Steve knew Luke couldn't turn in his brother, but now needed to ensure that somebody else went down for the murder. Demanding answers from the sheriff as if he wanted justice for his son, he didn't. Hiring his own PI to dig up dirt on potential scapegoats, and pressuring the sheriff to charge somebody, anybody but Brent, was all to keep his son out of jail. And not even because he cared about Brent, but because it would ruin the family's reputation. I didn't love the last-second twist. After everything has been wrapped up, the reveal that, actually, girl was guilty was a little disappointing for me, but this show must have done some things right because I ran some polls and we seemed to guess correctly. We guessed that it was Brent that showed up to the dock and that Isabella would have the biggest secret reveal. Surprisingly, nobody else seemed to care about the runaway note, something I was very hung up on and not happy to find out that Megan wrote in Luke's handwriting. But I guess if she can hack into a foreign country's police system or make fake IDs without supplies, seriously, what did they print these on? Then fine, I'll accept that she can copy his handwriting. All in all, I really enjoyed the season, and I think a big part of that comes from the fandom discussing the show and the fun of making these videos. It was nice to watch a show airing weekly and theorize with other fans, and to make videos to share those theories with anyone who will listen. So thanks for watching and commenting. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of the finale, what you were happy with, what you wish they had done differently, or what you would have done if you could rewrite the finale. Thanks for being here, and be sure to like and subscribe. Please and thank you. Bye.
Hello. You?